Hello, students. This is Pooja Yadav, and I welcome you all today in the new series of anthropology classes that we are going to start. So, let me give you a quick overview. First of all, let me tell you that we will be teaching you anthropology as an optional for the UPSC CSE and also for the state PCS. And we will be starting from the scratch so that student at any level of their preparation can come along. So we will be teaching you from A to Z. We will take you from the initial phase of the syllabus towards its completion. Also, we will be giving you notes. So notes will be available to you in the format of a PDF where keywords will be written and I will be explaining them to you. So you have to write down that explanation in your own language in your notes. So at the end of the video, you will have your own notes comprehensively covered uh, with regard to the topic that has been taught. Also, there will be value addition in the form of case studies, examples, and name of scholars, and whole lot other things. And finally, there will be answer writing, which I will explain how we will do. So, yes, presented by me, Pooja Yadav. Let me give you a quick introduction. So, first of all, how we will approach this subject. First of all, we will take the syllabus, for example, say we are going to do today this point 1.1, so meaning, scope, and development of anthropology. We will see the previous year question paper regarding this topic so that we get to know that which are the most probable areas from this topic from where questions are being asked. After having this fair idea in our mind, we will proceed towards making notes. In the notes, we will cover every aspect related to that syllabus and we will add more and more keywords, scholars, definitions, case studies, etc., which add value to our notes. Now, we will also do some answer writing. There will be some practice questions from our side, which you can do on the daily basis. That will be our daily answer writing practice. Also, if students will demand after the completion of a specific portion of the syllabus, we can also provide you with sectional test and full length test at the end of the series. Now, there will be value addition. Value addition will be from the solution of the test series, where some case studies, examples, etc., that have not been covered in our notes, we will include them from there, and also we will add value and depth to our notes from the standard books. So, this is the basic plan here. We will have the syllabus, we will do the previous year question papers, we will comprehensively make notes, we will learn them, we will do some answer writing practice, we will add value, we'll go to the exam center and definitely write answers. And with the God's grace, we will get good marks in mains so that we just achieve our aim. So, this is the basic plan. Now, let us start with today's class. So first of all, the syllabus. The syllabus which we are covering today is 1.1, meaning, scope, and development of anthropology. First of all, meaning. What is the meaning of anthropology? Anthropology is actually made up of two basic words. First is anthropos and the second is logi. Anthropos means human being and logi means study. So it is the study about human beings, study about us, study about Homo sapiens. So basically, when we are asked about the meaning of the anthropology, we may say that it studies origin, nature, and development of human species across space and time. So origin means we will be doing that where we come from biologically, like we are primates. So in primates, we are not the only one. There are monkeys, there are apes, gibbons, etc. So we will be doing the whole taxonomy here. Secondly, the nature of human species. Our nature as a human species is different from other species in many respects, but the main difference is of culture. Other species do not possess culture, but Homo sapiens do. Also, we will do the development of human species at all levels and in all spheres. Temporally means across time. So we will be doing various time periods through which the humans evolved. For example, we do have periods like Paleolithic, Chalcolithic, Neolithic, etc. Also, we will be doing it across space. It means we will not be bound to our own country or some other country. We will do it across the whole world. For example, the out of Africa theory. You may not have heard it, don't worry right now about it. But there is a theory that humans first evolved in Africa and then they went out to the whole world. They spread out from there. So we will be doing Homo sapiens study all the world over. So across space. Now let's do some standard definitions. First definition was given by Aristotle, who very in a layman language said that anthropology is the gossip about men and anthropologist is the gossiper who talks about himself. It means gossip about the man, covering any aspect of man, and anthropologist is the gossiper. It means he is the one who talks about the man. And obviously, as anthropologist is himself a man, he is talking about himself. That's what Aristotle says. This is quite of a sarcastic kind of definition where the anthropology as a subject has been taunted for being over obsessive with a particular species. Now, moving on to the next definition, it is given by E.B. Tylor. He defined anthropology in 19th century in his book Anthropology, which came in 1881. Now, always remember, whenever we tell some definition by some scholar, we always tell that in which publication this definition was given and that book was published in which year. This adds value and weight to our answers, and the answer looks good. So, he defined it as the study of all remains of people and the physical features, races, languages, customs, practices of primitive people. There are many loopholes in the definition, so it cannot be said to be the accurate one. So, first of all, it's only talking about the physical features, uh, not about the social ones, which are also covered in anthropology. Old remains, yes, archaeology covered, but linguistic anthropology is not covered. And he said about primitive people. But if we see the scope of anthropology today, we also do study the present Homo sapiens and the future Homo sapiens, like what their future would be like. So it's not only about primitive people, it's about modern men as well. Now, there is another definition given by Malinowski and Franz Boas. They gave it in 20th century. It defines the subject as the study of man at all levels of development. Though the definition seems to be quite smaller, but it is very comprehensive in the way that this whole word has been used. So, this definition is the most appropriate one out of these three. Now, moving ahead, talking about the scope of anthropology, what we mean by the scope? The scope means what we can expect when we study this subject, means what we will study, to what extent we will study, to what depth we will study it, and how much knowledge we will gain from studying it. So, the scope of anthropology can be classified in four branches. First is socio-cultural anthropology. Sociocultural anthropology mainly talks about the social aspect of man, and as our social aspect has culture in it, so it is sociocultural anthropology. Don't worry, we will be doing these four branches in quite detail in the later part of the syllabus. Then there is biological anthropology, which studies race, disease, forensics, etc. Then there is archaeological anthropology, where the old remains of the humans or their ancestors are studied. There is linguistic anthropology. See, this is a very interesting branch because interestingly, Homo sapiens is the only species on this earth which has a very fully developed language. So, to study that aspect in a special way, we do have a separate branch called linguistic anthropology. Now, let me put some special emphasis here on the fifth branch, which is applied anthropology, because nowadays the paper also has oriented itself towards the applied portion of the subject. So, we will be doing applied anthropology as well. So, here is Donald Trump telling you the four separate subdisciplines of anthropology. Okay, now after this, we will see the temporal scope of the subject. Temporal scope means at what time scales we will be doing while reading anthropology. So it covers all the time phases like present, past, and future. For example, what was in the past, our ancestor, how we emerged, how the origin of human race took place. This will come in the past. Now, present epidemiological anthropology studies about the COVID-19. So, it is the present. It studies about present. Also, it makes predictions about the future, that what kind of disease can come in the future, what kind of biological developments can take in the human body in the near future. So, these are temporal scope. Now talking about the spatial scope, like what space is covered while reading anthropology. First of all, it studies a community. For example, let us take any caste. It will, for example, take any caste like scheduled caste. Anthropology will study its social circumstances. Then it will see that, oh, this caste has the problem of untouchability. It will go into the roots of it by the branch sociocultural anthropology. So in this way, a community is studies. Then a region is studies. For example, North India, there are many castes. There are n number of castes. All the castes will be studied, and a common characteristic will be derived for North India. For example, their food habit, their clothing because of their climate, and food habits because of the Green Revolution are same throughout the North India. Now, it will also take the studies to the national level. For example, in paper 2 of anthropology, we will be studying tribes throughout India at the national level. Then there are transnational studies, as I already told you, the out of Africa theory, which encompasses n number of political boundaries. So this will be the spatial scope. So all in all, you have seen that the scope of anthropology is very wide. It touches every aspect of the human life. It touches all the geographical region where human is present, and it studies all the time phases where the human was present or will be present. So the scope is quite wide and is increasing day by day. Okay, I hope I am clear here. So let us move on to the development part of anthropology. Now let me tell you that anthropology is not a well established ancient subject. It has emerged in the recent past. So it actually evolved in the 19th century because of some forces. What were those forces? First was the colonial expansion. Now, Britishers came as traders, but a trader do not need to know your social background or anything. He does not have anything to do with that. He will trade with you, he will give you money, he will take his items and go. But during colonial expansion, what Britishers do, they try to rule us. In ruling some people, you need to know their culture, their society, their economy, so that you can rule them efficiently. That's why the colleges like Sanskrit colleges, Calcutta Madrasa, etc., were established by the Britishers to understand the Indians more effectively, for their efficient administration. Second, the scientific development. As the Renaissance came, the idea of all humans being as equal, humanity, logic, etc. poured in. So the very basis of uh, ideas present at that time, like race, were challenged. So anthropology emerged as a subject, and anthropology today says that race, the concept of race, is a myth, and this thing supports the idea of scientific development. So these were the two main forces behind the evolution of anthropology as a full-fledged subject. Now, when we will have to tell the development of anthropology, we will divide it into various parts. Now, we will not do it by ourselves. We are not some scholar to divide by ourselves. We will take some scholar who has already done it for us. So, one of that scholar is T.K. Penniman, who in his book A Hundred Years of Anthropology 1935 has given four phases of anthropological growth. So, the first and foremost phase is formulatory phase. This formulatory phase is of course the earliest phase. It was in 19th to 20th century. There was nothing much, but mainly the study of language, material culture, and social organizations as they are. So it was just the starting of the anthropology. So the key figures at that time were E.B. Tyler, Fraser, and Morgan. Now, what were their contribution? Let us take a look at it. E.B. Tyler is called the father of anthropology. He gave the theory of cultural evolution, where various societies were categorized based on their level of cultural advancement. So, what he said was there are three stages. What are those stages? Savagery, then barbarism, and then civilization. He said that Europe was in the phase of civilization and other societies, some were at savagery level, some were at barbarism level. Now, this was criticized by French boss who said that just seeing some culture from only one perspective is an ethnocentrist point of view. So he gave the idea of cultural relativism. All these ideas we will be studying in detail in the later classes. So right now I'm just giving you some rough idea. Ethnocentrism means taking our culture, making it the standard for measuring the other practices of uh, other cultures, and then if they do not match with other cultures, then judging them as inferior. But this is not good. Cultural relativism says that every society has its own particular type of situation, circumstances, needs, and hence they have different cultural practices. So they should not be judged only from the perspective of some one culture. Okay, am I clear till here? So let us move on. Malinowski gave the concept of participant observation. Now, these things which I am telling you, cultural relativism, participant observation, these are the gems that anthropology has given to the world. What is participant observation? Let us suppose that that there is an anthropologist A. He has to work among this tribe X. Now, what he can do is he can just observe by sitting outside that, oh, their marriage takes place like this, there is dowry, okay, death rituals are like this, birth rituals are like this, religion is like this. But in this sense, he will not be getting a fair idea. So, what is good? What is better? It's better to go there, intermingle with them, be a part of their society, learn their language, stay there for some time, and then participate in the community events as a member of the community. Then the anthropologist will be able to grasp all the complexities and nitty-gritties of the cultural events of this particular tribe. So this is called participant observation, where the anthropologist himself becomes a member of the community which is under study. Now, second came the convergent phase. It was in the 20th century. So, what it did, it obviously overcame the faults or the shortcomings that were in the formulatory phase. It mainly synthesized different fields of knowledge and cross-cultural comparisons. So, what happened in the formulatory phase? We just collected data of various societies that okay, this is done in this society, that practice is done in that society. So now, when we did have the data of various societies in convergent phase, we tried to compare them and we tried to derive some conclusion if there is something similar, if there is something different, in if different, then in which ways and why. So all these things were done in convergent phase. So it was the convergent phase when Radcliffe Brown studied the Onge tribe of Andaman and Nicobar. Thirdly comes the constructive phase. This was definitely to overcome the limitations of the last two phases. Now it began to question the universal applicability of Western culture. As I already told you, the anthropology as a subject emerged mainly in the West. So there were Western anthropologists in the initial stage. They saw their culture as the civilization and other cultures as some inferior society. Because of this, there was criticism of that ethnocentrist point of view, and that criticism became very loud during the constructive phase because in this phase, anthropologists from various corners of the world came forward and they put their own theories challenging the cultural evolution theories of the earlier anthropologists. So now the most important thing that happened was the connection between anthropology and politics emerged. Now, this connection was very much visible during this phase, but this has been used even during the colonial times when the anthropology was used as a tool to rule India politically or to rule any other country politically. Now we will move on to the last phase, that is the critical phase. Now it emerged very recently in 1990s, and what is special about this phase is that it focuses on social justice and ethics of research. Now social justice means it works for women, for SCs, for STs, that is tribals, and tribals all over the world, the indigenous people as we call them. So the social justice became the main theme of anthropology, and also there are talks about ethics of research. Now, ethics of research mean as we are doing research among the tribes. Now, there are some customs, some rituals of the tribes that they do not want to be seen by the outsiders. They do not want any outsiders to be present there. So we have to be very sensitive about that, and this is called the ethics of research. Now, it was only in this phase that the Department of Anthropology was established in India for the first time. So, anthropology in India is very new. It's an in its infant stage. Now, it continues till present day. So, which phase of anthropology is going on right now? The critical phase. Now, the conclusion I have given you, the evolution of anthropology as a discipline has led to growing need to understand the social world and its complexities from different perspectives. You can also give your own conclusion like the emergence of anthropology is the result of inherent curiosity of mankind to know about itself. This can also be a very good conclusion. So be innovative. This innovation will only come out when you will try to write. So try to write so that your mind make up these lines and these can be used in the exam hall in a very innovative and creative way. So now, as I told you, I will be giving you practice question at the end of every video. So these are the practice questions. These can be done from what I have taught you in the video. So always remember that you can do it, and we have already started to, you know, step up the ladder, and we will once reach the zenith if you will continue to tune with me. So these are the practice questions. Please try to comment your answers in the comment section, and I will try to check them, and I will also discuss your answers and the model answers in the next video. So all the best till then. Thank you for listening to me. Bye bye.